Hello everyone, and welcome to another podcast session with my friend Anil, where we discuss about the sessions which we have already channeled before in a simplified manner for all of our viewers to understand. And today also we are going to continue our discussion of non-player characters, also known as background people, NPCs. So which we discussed in our previous session. So this is a follow up, and we will explore the remaining concepts which were discussed. And also, Anil is going to share a technique to remove judgment um, mindset. So, with that being said, I am really grateful to all of you who like this video, and we are hoping to get around 500 likes because it will help the algorithm share it with other people who may need it. So, I welcome Anil to the podcast. Hello, Anil.
Thank you, Sam. Um, Hello again for our viewers. Thank you for being here once more with Sam and Anil. I hope you are resonating with high vibration today. Um, I am Anil. The purpose of this podcast is to raise the understanding and vibration of current human collective. I would encourage each entity to approach these topics with an open minds and hearts, seeking to understand the deeper spiritual truths and only accept those thought forms that resonate with your inner heart, as your inner heart is always connected to the truth within and knows more than your so called thinking mind is capable of understanding and knowing the truth. So, as Sam has already pointed out, today we're going to talk about NPC Part 2, NPC or non player characters, background people Part 2. So, in the last podcast, we learned that the non player characters or the background people has no soul and are generated by the main players or entities with soul during the process of incarnation of learning certain lessons. We also learned a easy and simple test to find out if an entity is a background entity or a real soul. So the non-player entities can also awaken to become a player entities in their incarnation. This is facilitated by the ability of free will, which allows each entity of choice. These non-player entities must firstly become conscious of their thought forms, specifically the images and the words, because the images and the words are the links which trap the NPC or background personality to an illusion complex. This works because the brain complex is able to keep information or record information using images and words for each entity who is able to recognize that each of its thought forms in its mind or brain complex initiates after a or begins only after a certain image or a certain letter or a word triggers a timeline of thought forms. As you must have noticed, sometimes you're sitting and somebody says, you see a picture or a word, and this has been used by a lot of advertising and things. They trigger something in your mind, and your mind just goes in this thousands of images coming in your mind as it triggers it. Unless you're conscious and stop these things, not many people can basically stop this. So that's what they're talking about, is that a word or a image can trigger, and then you just keep on one timeline to another. You must have past experiences, and it just goes out of control of your hand, and you're not able to manage it. Thus the brain can be considered as a timeline manipulator. The non-player entities are unaware of this aspect and are mostly unconscious beings manipulated by the thought forms that are being implanted subconsciously by the main player entities, who are fully conscious and purposefully trying or applying their energy work on the outside world. And this has been used by media and advertising companies very well. Very well. They know more than most of the people. They know us better than, or most of people better than themselves. The main player character recognize that the mind of the brain complex is a tool for their use and not the other way around. The non-player entities are mostly used by the brain complex, and their complex goes uncontrollable since they are unconscious. They're also troubled in a large amount by an unconscious thought forms and images and the words, which trigger them into a different timelines even during their waking state. This causes the non-player entities to be hugely influenced by a word or a picture in the mind complex, leading to a whole host of diseases, also or other psychological problems. Each conscious entity or a main player character must be conscious of the images and the words which starts in the brain complex, because each image and each word has the ability of transcending or allowing such an entity to enter into a timeline wherein such experiences are felt. Therefore, only such images and words should be entertained which the so called main character wants to experience on the illusion complex, thereby by giving it the full free will and control of the illusion complex. So, in simple words, the non-player does not have any control. So it's like getting on a car and you can't brake it, and you don't have a brake on it, and it's just keep going in any direction. You just have a steering wheel moving around, trying to stop yourself having an accident or bumping into somebody. Whereas conscious entity or a main player know exactly what he wants, exactly that he triggers in his mind, and release the emotion to the heightened things. It is not manipulated by the mind or somebody else. So that is the a base a difference in my understanding. Furthermore, many entities are unaware that the energy work of or the use of imaginative sense, along with the type of emotion which may be considered as a heightened emotions, leads to type of manipulation of mind complex of non-player characters. Subconsciously, non-player character subconsciously, as all are unity, as the entities are united on a level of time-space realm. So, um, for me, when they say non-player entity has no soul, in my understanding, maybe I am could be wrong, but in my understanding, it means that the connection of the non-player uh, character or background people to the one infinite creator is very weak. So, I mean, the connection is always there, but is very weak, almost negligible, and they need to uh, basically revive or spark uh, and revive this connection so they can become conscious, because it's so weakened the connection, that means uh, they have no connection or no soul. That is my understanding, although I have asked Sam to clarify this point, and hopefully in future podcasts we can give you the answer once we get the clarification uh, what I am thinking. But you are free to think your own way. Sam, do you want to add something to it?
Yeah, I think I just want to say that I think what they mean. From my understanding. So I will channel about this about the clarification. Uh, so from my understanding, like many people, even today, people they are able to manipulate the outside reality based on in their thought forms or their imagination or anything like that. So I think there are some people who have great connection with infinite intelligent energy, and some people they do this through meditation and stuff like that, which I have also seen. Like there are many people who heal themselves in meditative states, who are able to achieve their desires, who are able to manipulate timelines. So I think non-clear characters, they may not be not be in touch with their true essence, like their soul. So like Anil was saying, that's my understanding, but I will have to clarify that. And I think that, those who are listening, we are definitely, sharing this message so that, if any non-clear character, or any background people, if they come in contact with this video, they may realize, what's happening, and they may become self-aware enough so that they can awaken. And, That's what I wanted to add in this.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. So today, in our second part of a podcast, today we're gonna talk about how to clear judgment, perfect pictures, and thought forms. In our last podcast, we learned how to clear beliefs. Um, so before I go into, judgments are cleared as in the same way as belief. The only difference is the nature and the source of energy being cleared. Um, I like to describe the difference between judgment, opinion, preference, and discernment, because some people they have a very fine nuances between them, and sometimes it is not easy. What is an judgment, opinion, and preference? People mix judgment with opinion, preference, and discernment, especially discernment. So, a judgment is a thought projection onto or about another person or yourself that negates the value of a person's essence. It identifies the other person's or yourself as that which you dislike and see as having no value. For example, if you say or think, he's just a stubborn, pig headed jerk, you identify that the person as that which you have called him. You dismiss the value of the person's essence and label the whole person based on its attitude or behavior. This is a judgment. Alternatively, if you say or think, I feel really unsafe, frustrated, and angry when he behaves so stubbornly and I don't like it. You express your feeling and state of an opinion about what you perceive in the person's behavior. If you further say and think, I don't feel safe around or respected by this person, and I choose not to spend time with him anymore. You state a preference based on life experience. This is using discernment. Remember, you are spiritually responsible for not judging yourself and others, no matter what. Every spirit is and soul being is on its own evolutionary journey, and you have no right to condemn, judge, and therefore dismiss his or her or your own interest, inherent value. However, you are simultaneously responsible for making discerning choices in life, taking care of yourself, and not being a victim. If you know someone has consistently behaved in a disrespectful, distrustful, or harmful manner, you must use discernment and choose what degree of relationship, if any, is appropriate by you to maintain. This is not negating the person's ability to grow. It is simply choosing how you need to or prefer to relate to them in the meantime. Basically, you must make discerning choices about whom you associate closely with and to what degree of intimacy. Vibrationally, there are people you resonate with and people you just do not relate to at all. It is natural to have preferences based on resonance and compatibility. It is important to realize that your evolutionary level of compatibility may be very different from your physical attraction to someone. You may be drawn to someone by a physical attraction or karmic twist only to find out that day to day life with that person is painful, unpleasant, or incompatible at best. When a person is treating you badly, you are responsible for standing up for yourself and not allowing it to continue. To speak out in that way is not blaming, it is using discernment. Now you know what judgments are versus discernment, preferences, and opinion. You are ready to clear a judgment. Think of someone you hold a judgment about. Think about what the judgment is. Then you go back to the process of clearing a belief, which was uh, detailed in our previous podcast, and follow the same procedure for clearing the judgment. At stage 12, simply affirm, I acknowledge that name of the person is a divine Holy Spirit of light who life has value. You may still choose not to be in close association with that person, and that is your right to choose. Now repeat the same step for clearing a belief, but this time clear a judgment about yourself. Clear your own affirmation at step 12, similar to the one above that you use for releasing judgment about another person. So you could say, I acknowledge that uh, I I am a divine Holy Spirit of light who has value. So you can say the same thing for yourself, calling your name and acknowledge and confirm and affirm that you are basically a Holy Spirit or a holographic fragment of the divine, or for one infinite creator. We all are a holographic fragment of one infinite creator, which I have explained in our previous podcast. Um, so you can use that. The wordings, as long as the meaning is the same, you can use any wording to affirm that you understand that. When you catch yourself having a judgmental thought about anyone, including yourself, stop immediately and say, I command that this thought be cancelled now. Then affirm your higher truth in its place. So, as I said, one of the things, I've been telling you, or that every day, in the end of the day, you should reflect on the day, and any thoughts when you come, you watch your thoughts, because otherwise, most people, the mind is playing games. That's why we say in meditation and old spiritual teachings, that watch your mind. But most of the time is mind is watching you or manipulating you. But you have to watch your mind and tell your mind that you are in command, not the mind who is in command. You know. So and the basic example is, when you do, body. Let's take a bodily vehicle. Our body. And we have a saying that body is the best servant and the worst master. So most people are basically, the body is a master. I have a pain here, I can't do this. They are so lazy. But once you have this in mind, that I'm in command, the body is at my service, you can do so many things. You can manipulate your body in a way, it's not lazy. It can do so many things. You will be agile, full of energy. It will change everything. But this, what you have to recognize, and then command it. It's not gonna happen that body's gonna say, because body's always saying, I just want to lie down. Oh, this happening. You sit in front of TV and let yourself go. So please think that you are always in command. The mind keeps telling you he's in the thing, the analytical mind. It's like a game of chess, and mine is a very, very, is a grandmaster. Okay, so he is already playing 20 steps ahead of you already, and you need to catch up. And by focusing on your breath and exercises, and knowing, being aware of this thing, you can do that. Many people have done that. You will not be the first person, and you won't be the last person. So you have to just remember this. Okay. So now going to the perfect pictures. Perfect pictures can also be cleared using the same process as you use to clearing beliefs and judgments. Perfect pictures are cleared when you are able to take an ideal or a goal for something you want or want to be, and make it into an absolute. Generally, when you do not live up to your ideal or goal, you trash yourself for it. For example, you may have a spiritual idol for being compassionate and understanding. However, if you blame yourself and feel ashamed of every shortcoming on your path along the way to becoming compassionate and understanding, you may never get there. When you are feeling angry or judgmental instead of compassionate and understanding. You may feel like such a failure that you get depressed, feel ashamed, or and punish yourself. The more appropriate attitude would be one of awareness of imperfect attitude or behavior, followed by transforming it non-judgmentally. So again, as I said to you, you're aware that you're not the perfect, you haven't reached there, but you work for it and strive. But rather than cursing yourself and judging yourself that you're no good and you're useless and things, and you just go in this kind of babbling in your mind and get frustrated and then leave it. Most people do that when they go to the gym. Everything they say, oh, my body is not becoming, for example, and then they leave it, never continue it. So you need to keep on going, and one day you will. It's like when you start learning, for example, bicycling or roller skating. If you say, okay, first day you're gonna go on a roller skate, you're gonna do it. No, it's not gonna happen first day. You have to keep just walking slowly, step by step, walk with the skates. And then after a week, 10 days, when you keep walking, you will start roller skating yourself. You don't need to. But if you, in the first day, oh, I fall, I cannot do it, it's not going to happen. Same thing. So in the spiritual path is exactly the same thing. You just have to be at it, you know and you will get there. Yeah, just need a patience. Patience is very important. But we are people of fast food. We need everything fast. Fast life, fast food. We need to slow down a little bit. Okay, now think about areas in your life which you feel inadequate, ashamed, or like a failure. Then identify your perfect picture about who you think you should be. Use the above process for clearing beliefs and judgments to clear these perfect pictures. At step 12, create an affirmation such as, I am compassionate and understanding person who is still growing. I love and accept myself exactly as I am right now. If you find perfect picture that originate from other people, you can remove them in roses. Thought forms. So next is thought forms. You can also clear, thought forms which are coming and you have no controls. Are created, are clear, done using the same technique as you have used for belief, judgment, and perfect picture. The only difference is that thought forms is a composite structure made of many past and present life pictures, belief, judgment, and or perfect pictures, all amassed around a central theme. You can see thought forms as a spindle around which thought, beliefs, and highly charged life experiences, pictures about a common themes are wound. One after another, they join, wrapping themselves like a videotape around a spool. A thought form has the capacity to actually become so charged that it grows to be what I call a thought form entity. This type of entity gradually becomes to control aspects of your life and inhibit your growth. So, this will be all for today. And thank you for listening to this podcast and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps spread this information, and I hope to see you there next time with much love. Your friends in service of one infinite creator, Sam and Anil. Thank you.
Thank you so much.